Everybody, welcome back. This is day 17 of Poetry Lockdown. I am delighted to be bringing you a poem from another one of my teachers. I've been blessed to have some incredible teachers and mentors as a poet. This is Katrina Vandenberg. She is a teacher at Hamlin University, where I attended for 5 years part time. While I was teaching, well, I'm still am teaching high school. So I was a full time high school English teacher, and then taking classes there, and most of them were in poetry. And I also got to work with Katrina. She's the head poetry editor at Waterstone Review, a terrific literary journal run out of Hamlin. So just learned a ton from her about poetry. And one of the things that I learned from her is just she has a fantastic ability to sustain attentiveness to just the smallest detail of human interaction. And really, anything for Katrina can be a poem. And so the poem that I'm going to share from her collection, The Alphabet Not Unlike the World, it's a terrific collection, really recommend it. This poem we kept having to say, it's an argument that a couple's having, and she finds this astonishingly beautiful poem in that argument. So I'll read it and then just share a little bit about how much I love the poem. Here we go. Katrina Vandenberg's We Kept Having to Say. I don't remember what we were arguing about, only that we were in public, in Hugo's on a Friday night, winter as much as it can be in Fayetteville. And in case you haven't been, the red door to the cafe is below street level, and inside the heating pipes are red and exposed, and the lights burn red as well. That night, it was so crowded, it was hard to hear. So we felt free to keep going while we waited for a table. Spiteful, vicious, everything below the belt. The kind of fight where after a while you have no idea what you have said, much less believe, only that you are trying to stay afloat on your little raft of words and not let the other party wipe you out. But over the cackle of glasses and forks, we kept having to say, "What? Could you repeat that?" Even seated at a round table too small to hold our plates and the drinks we desperately wanted by then, it did not stop. We sat in the red-checkered, red-lit din and let that argument swell and thin like an inflating balloon, our coats being knocked off our chairs by people on their way out, and it wasn't until we asked the waitress what we owed that she said nothing. A stranger had paid our bill for us and told her not to tell us until he had gone. All the way home in the new snow, silent now, abashed, we wondered who he was, what he had heard, whether he loved or pitied us. I just want to take a deep breath after that beautiful, lovely poem. And also just recognize something that I don't think I've emphasized enough in some of the poem selections. Stories can be great poems. I think sometimes people think that the narrative art, telling the great story, doesn't always quote work in a poem. But I love just the compression of this poem, which is also like could be a great, very short, you know, flash fiction. And I love that turning point. The word nothing just leaping off the page. And also that, you don't really know, even at the end of the poem, whether this was love or pity inspired that action. And there's something really beautiful about the abashed, embarrassed shame of the couple. So, I mean, that's really my takeaway. I don't think I can add to the beauty of this poem. But thank you, Katrina, for publishing this exceptionally lovely lyric poem. I'll just read the last the last third of the poem that picks up with the title line. We kept having to say, "What? Could you repeat that?" Even seated at a round table too small to hold our plates and the drinks we desperately wanted by then, it did not stop. We sat in the red-checkered, red-lit din and let that argument swell and fin like an inflating balloon, our coats being knocked off our chairs by people on their way out. And it wasn't until we asked the waitress what we owed that she said nothing. A stranger had paid our bill for us and told her not to tell us until he had gone. All the way home in the new snow, silent, now abashed, we wondered who he was, what he had heard, whether he loved or pitied us. Thank you, Katrina Vandenberg, and thank you all for listening.